Hey everyone, Make 3.0 Shine here, and welcome back to the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, where we are starting Episode 5, Rise from the Ashes, which is like the DLC case in the first Ace Attorney game. Because we finished the first Ace Attorney, this is the DLC case. So let's just get into it, shall we? This is a weird opening. I don't know how much I like this. Well, not a lot, that's all I know. Woman. It's been 2 months since Maya left the office. 2 months without a single trial. I've had offers, but none I took. That is, until the day that girl showed up. February 22nd, 10:02 AM. Wright & Co. Law Offices. Sorry, if you hear my chair is really squeaky, I apologize. I'm trying to get in a more comfortable position. Ugh. Why do I come here to the office every day? It's not like I want to work. There you are, finally. Where have you been? My sister's trial is tomorrow. Who are you? It doesn't matter who I am, it only matters who you are. The famous defense attorney Mia Fey. Oh, you're not Mia Fey, are you? I'm sorry, but Miss Mia Fey no longer works here. So you are? The coffee boy? I'm Phoenix Wright, a defense attorney. Right. Wait, you're the Phoenix Wright? The Phoenix Wright from the Edgeworth murder case? Yes, that's correct. It wasn't Edgeworth who was murdered, though. That's a relief then. You're better than nobody. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I'm not taking cases right now. But you are Phoenix Wright, right? The undefeated defense attorney? Look, I'm not accepting any new cases. I'm sorry, but you'll have to try elsewhere. Please. I'm out of time. But please, you have to help. It's my sister. Maya? Could it be? Okay, I'll hear you out. Really? Thank you so much. The name's Ema Sky. I'm a scientific investigator. I still don't know whether it's Ema or Emma. I pronounce it Ema, but I'm sure a lot of people are gonna get triggered at me. So, hi. Scientific investigator? Get to examine everything again. Looks like it's cleaning day again at the hotel across the way. I hear they're planning a second brunch outside the city. Egads! The bellboy was staring right at me. Mia's plant, Charlie. I've been taking care of him in Maya's absence. There's a poster of the Steel Samurai on the wall. Maya stuck it up here on the day that she left. I didn't have the heart to take it down. I do sometimes get strange looks from the clients, though. Mia's desk. I sit here even less now that I've stopped taking cases. I ought to at least dust it off once in a while. Difficult-looking legal books stand in a formidable row. They mock me. I tried reading one and it made my head hurt. When I closed it, it slipped out of my hand, and my foot hurt too. Okay, that was the same as usual. Ema, was it? So you're a scientific investigator? Yes, that's right. Is something wrong? No, it's just you seem kind of, jumpy. Or maybe just young? Young? I'll be 16 years old this year. Oh, I see. Wait, only 16? I'm set to be formally assigned to forensics in 3 more years. My work is becoming quite well known, at my age no less. So what exactly is your current position then? Well, legally speaking, I guess you'd call me an 11th grader. But I'm ready to do my job, at my age no less. Great, another future professional in training. Case. So what's this about a case? You said the trial's tomorrow? My sister didn't do it. She wouldn't stab someone with a knife. She wouldn't. So, it's a murder case. I don't care if there's a witness who saw her do it. She didn't do it. I know she didn't do it. It's a scientific fact. And there's a witness. You just talk to her. You have to talk to her. Right. I suppose I will. I promised her I'd bring Mia Fey, but that's interesting. How would she know Mia? Scientific investigator. So, you want to be a scientific investigator when you grow up, then? Excuse me? I'm not a child, I'll have you know. Still, it's good to have a goal, albeit a very unusual one. I believe investigations should be done scientifically. Don't you? Yeah. Sure can't fault her for a lack of enthusiasm. If this case is handled scientifically, I'm sure my sister's name will be cleared. Your sister? I've been doing research, you know. I'm developing a new scientific method of case investigation. I'll show you when I'm done. I'm looking forward to it. Guess I should get down to the detention center and talk to her sister. Relation to Mia. My sister asked for Mia specifically. This Mia Fey person was a few years below her in school. So they went to the same school, huh? She always told me to go to Mia if I ever needed a defense attorney. And, well, I need one. Incidentally, Mia is a woman. Now that you mention it, I guess it is more of a woman's name than a man's. Well, it's nice of you to help your sister out like this. You must be close. Well, actually, when she gets like she is now, I kind of hate her. Huh? But she's my only family. Your only family? What about your parents? They died in a car accident when I was little. Oh, I'm sorry. Alright, damn. See this? It's my attorney's badge. Ah, well, I've never seen a real one before. You're the first one who's actually been interested in mine, believe me. Its composition is mostly silver. The gold plating is flaking a bit. She analyzed it, scientifically. There doesn't appear to be any corrosion due to sulfides. I'd give you $50 for it. Sorry, but it's not for sale. Yet. Okay. Let's go down to the detention center. February 22nd. Detention center. Visitor's room. I wonder what's wrong with Ema. She got quiet all of a sudden as soon as we arrived. God, I thought I told you I didn't want visitors. Sorry, ma'am, it's just your sister. No excuses. Or did you not want a raise this year? Understood, ma'am. What was that all about? Hi, Lana. Funny. I seem to remember specifically telling you not to come here. Perhaps my memory is failing? Look, I didn't want to come here either, okay? You got trials tomorrow, and you still don't have a defense attorney. I'll be the one in court tomorrow. This has nothing to do with you, Ema. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Hey, how do you know me? Mia mentioned you. I've heard quite a bit. I'm sorry. What exactly is it that you do? My name is Lana Sky. I'm chief prosecutor for this district. You're a prosecutor? Two sisters, one a lawyer. Could this be a coincidence? Ema, Lana, I mean, they're just like... Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Let's examine. This guard monitors the visitor's room. He's frozen in fear of the frigid Miss Lana. I'm feeling a bit chilly myself. I'm just, just gonna say smile for the camera, right? Smile for the camera. There we go. The case. There's something you should know from the start. Which is, the suspect in this case has confessed to the crime. Huh? Wait, but the suspect is me. I did it. Well, Mr. Wright? Well, why don't you begin by telling me exactly what happened? The crime took place yesterday, February 21st at 5:15 p.m. That's quite specific. It was in the witness's deposition. A witness clearly saw me committing the crime. That was a bit of bad luck, wasn't it? The crime took place in the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The body was found in the trunk of my subordinate's car. The prosecutor's office, huh? In your subordinate's car trunk? Classy. I was arrested on the spot, caught red-handed as it were. Well, that's just great. The victim. So, who was the victim? An investigator with the police department. I suppose the correct term is detective. A detective? Death was due to a loss of blood. He was stabbed once in the stomach. By you? Death wasn't immediate, but the wound was fatal. I see. Allow me to repeat myself, Mr. Wright. The victim was a detective. You know what that means, don't you? Uh-oh. What, Mr. Wright? What does it mean? Well, it means the police department will consider it a matter of pride to have me found guilty. They will use any means at their disposal to do so. This case gets worse and worse with everything I learn. Lana. So, you're the chief prosecutor? That is correct. I'm responsible for overseeing every trial handled by prosecutors in this district, and make sure the prosecutors have what they need to do the job and manage every aspect. Those are my responsibilities in a nutshell. That's an awfully large nutshell. Still, I'm a little surprised. I would think you'd recognize the district's chief prosecutor, Mr. Wright. Huh? In fact, it seems impossible you wouldn't. Lana? What happened to your hand? Oh, this? I cut myself by accident, when I stabbed him, that is. Huh? I'm not very good at being a criminal, I suppose. How am I supposed to defend this? Time to change the subject. Wait, she was in the class head of Mia, wasn't she? Relation to Mia. You were in school with Mia, correct? A few years above her? Ema told you that too, did she? Well, why not? I did drag him all the way here from his office. Although it seems he has very little in common with Mia. Hey! I was in law school. It was in law school. I was in my 3rd year, and she was auditing the class. She was different than the other students. Different? She was strong. She'd do anything to become a defense attorney. Anything. That was probably why she was attracted to me. Excuse me? Intellectually attracted. Lana was top of her class in school. I was the best there was. Oh. I'm doing pretty good in school too, by the way. It sounds a bit different when Ema says it. Well, Mr. Wright? Excuse me? As you can plainly see, I am admitting my guilt. I think it's safe to say, there's no way you can take this case. None. But Lana... Why? Why are you doing this to me? You never think of anyone but yourself. I know you didn't do it, Lana. I know. So how can you say you did? If I lose you, I'll be all alone. I hate you, Lana. Mr. Wright? Yes? I believe our discussion here is ended. The rest, I leave to you. You mean you're requesting my services as your defense? Don't lose any sleep over it. Your client has confessed after all. The case is over. Right. I'll do what I can to get to the bottom of this. Lana has confessed to the crime, yes. But something doesn't fit. It's that look in Ema's eyes. There's something else going on here. And I'm going to find out what. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. Huh? About what? My sister. She's not always like that, you know. I just never expected to be defending another prosecutor again. She's changed a lot. She used to be so gentle, always smiling. Everybody liked her. I see. Sorry, but I'm having trouble imagining that. What happened to her? I don't know for certain myself. I think maybe she... well, maybe not. Sounds like there's something there that defies a simple scientific explanation. Let's go check out this underground parking at the prosecutor's office, shall we? Okay. Okay. Let's just go. Underground parking lot. February 22nd, prosecutor's office. Underground parking lot. So this is the lot where it all happened. Looks like they're still investigating. Funny that my first visit to the prosecutor's office should be like this. Hey everyone, keep up the good work. Hey, what are you thinking? Well, they are going to be my co-workers 3 years from now after all. No harm in saying hello. Actually, there is. You know attorneys aren't supposed to examine crime scenes? I'm trying to not stand out too much here, see? Hey there. You expecting to go unnoticed here, partner? Partner? What do we have here? Looks like a bambina got loose from the ranch and is up to no good. Folks gotta learn to keep them doggies tied down, partner. Mr. Marshall. Marshall? Looks more like a sheriff to me. Look here, bambina. I know how you feel. But this is my gang's gold strike, see? Strike? This is our claim, our territory, with a motherload of evidence. If you're fixing a mess of what's ours, you'll regret it, partner. You know what dreams the cacti out in the desert dream? You want to? What's this guy talking about? You head along home now. Happy trails, bambina. Yes, I know my accent has not gotten any better from when I did Lotto. Shut up. Was that a hombre, a friend of yours? Kind of, sort of. Yeah, he's a detective who thinks he's a sheriff from the Wild West, it seems. Look, a door! There's a door! This must mean something. I'm not sure what that doors mean anything. No, it won't open. A mysterious lock. I fail to see what's mysterious about it. Mr. Wright, we need to learn to enjoy life more. Let's finish our investigation first, shall we? Look, a stylish glass-walled room. Very nice. You can see the whole parking lot from in there. It says security. Perhaps it's a cafe? Huh? Cafe security. Yeah, that must be it. Let's check it out later. I hate to break it to you, but I think that's probably just a security guard office. You know, I scored a 97 on my science test the other day. Too bad they don't have a test for common sense. God damn! Aha! A ladder. What's a step ladder? What's the difference in scientific terms, please? Scientific, huh? Look at the basic nature of things, Mr. Wright. This all seems so horribly familiar somehow. Here, a phone. Let's see if it works. Hey, don't touch stuff we don't need to be touching. I can't hear anything. My ears. No, my ears. Maybe it's due to the barometric pressure. Barometric pressure. What is she babbling about? Hey, what did you just say? See, you can hear just fine. The phone's broken. This wall is in our way. It's got a faucet for water. Wait, I know. This wall is merely a facade hiding the truth. This is no wall, but a water tank. I fail to see how it makes any difference either way. Yeah, I can slide. Hey, I'll check all that in a bit, actually. What else can I examine? Damn, no, I can't examine that. That's interesting. Like this. This is where the cars leave the lot. The arrow on the ground makes it look more like an entrance. What are you talking about? It's plainly an exit. Well, maybe it's both. Kind of a dual purpose. Aha! The theory of relativity. What? I've got to write this down. Ah, hey, Mr. Wright. Maybe you know, was Mr. Relativity German, or was he British? Mr. Relativity? Are you sure that was his name? Of course. Yeah, we'll examine this now. What's this? A wallet? Excuse me, officer. Wait! What are you doing, Mr. Wright? What am I doing? I just found this wallet, so I'm handing it over to the police. I don't believe it. This is real basic. Anything at a crime scene is evidence. Let's be scientific about this, please. Just put it in your pocket. How is that scientific? Sounds like theft to me. Wallet hastily stuffed in the pocket. I'm called to duty already, and at my tender age. Here, I'll teach you the trick to examining evidence in detail, okay? By the way, her eyes are sparkling. I can tell she's been waiting for this. Okay now. Look at the court record. Okay, I'm looking. Okay, never mind. You have to be sure to examine evidence carefully on all sides. This is a new feature. Now, let's start examining from every angle. Oh look! I think there might be a clue here. You should check it out with a press of the A button. This is an ID card. Sergeant Bruce Goodman, ID 5842189. See? Well, isn't scientific investigation useful? I guess, but I don't see what science has to do with it. Goodman's ID added to the court record. Let's be sure to examine every piece of evidence we find. So can I just keep... I'm just going to keep examining. I can examine my own badge. So this is what the back of the badge looks like. I always thought it had a safety pin. Each badge has a number carved into it. That way you can tell which attorney it belongs to. You mean you couldn't lend your badge to anyone? No, I'd be found out right away. Well, that's no fun. Damn. Okay. Then, let's check the ID card itself. Police department. I like how PS2 like these textures are. A name and ID number are written here. Sergeant Bruce Goodman, ID 5842189. I wonder why they only use numbers for ID. What else would they use? Letters, silly. They're the reason we have a written language in the first place. True. Sergeant Bruce Goodman, ID Yabadab. See? Wouldn't that be better? Yabadab? Oh, it does have a certain ring to it. Exactly my point. Teehee. It doesn't take much to amuse her. I like Hema quite a bit. Let's be sure to examine every piece of evidence we find. I guess I've got to be on my toes from now on. Anything else to examine here? Or should we just slide over? Yeah, let's just slide over and see what's over here. Well, obviously there's the car. What's this? Well, no time to waste. Let's get hunting for clues. I wonder what this is. Well, partner, looks like you got no intention of going home quietly. The sheriff, like I said before, is his I claim. You'd best be moseying along, unless you're fixing to bite the bullet. Yeah, scary. Did you just tell us one thing? Who owns that car? Well, Lil Philly's got a good nose on her. You wanna know who rides that red Mustang with the body in the saddle, hey? Please. No problem, partner. About time for victuals anyway. Get yourself to the saloon up on the 12th floor of the prospector's office. Might just find you a Corvessa you like. Prospector's office? Where does this guy think he is? And when, for that matter? Note to self, look up Vittles Saloon Corvessa. Maybe we should check out room 1202, the High Prosecutor's office. In any case, stay away from the car. You can look around here all you like. Keep your paws off our claim. Right, great. I swear the accent keeps getting worse every time I do it. Great, maybe there are more clues around here, Mr. Wright. Let's check it out. Excuse me, were you two all set? Us? What's this? She couldn't be. You're selling lunches? Here? This is a crime scene. Hello, half and half, was it? Oh, thanks. And you, sir? Yes? Some crunchy goodness coming at you. Thanks. Interesting way of doing business. This area is off limits to anyone without clearance, especially passers-by. Or are you officers? No, but you don't exactly look like the type to have clearance. Well, that's hardly a way to greet some. Even if my days as the cough-up queen are over. Cough-up, huh? You know, I'm feeling kind of full. Maybe I'll pass on lunch. I'm quite connected to this case, you see. The images are burned into my eyes, you might say. Yes, all the sordid secrets. Secrets? Dear me, you're a slow one, aren't you? I'm referring to the murder, the stabbing of that detective. What? A witness clearly saw me committing the crime. You mean you're the witness my sister was talking about? Please, cough up queen, tell us what happened. The name is Angel Star. Don't you go forgetting it. Or before you know it, I'll have you whimpering at my heels. Yes, ma'am. Yipes, she means it. I don't think there's anything else to examine. I'm just checking. Okay. Wait, actually, security? Did she say anything about it? No. Okay, talk. The case. Somehow, I knew. Yesterday was a day of destiny. I knew something was going to happen. Just like I know that the daily special on Friday every week is salmon. Destiny? Was yesterday special for some reason? You're a defense attorney, right? You should know then. You should know the foul misdeeds of the evil ones who haunt this den of inequity. The evil ones? Prosecutors. They have no qualms at all about blackening the name of innocence. And yesterday they paid homage to the most evil one of all. They gave an award for King of Prosecutors. What a farce. So she's saying there was some sort of prosecutors convention yesterday. I was almost compelled to lace their lunches with something foul. Do you have a personal grievance against prosecutors or something? Or is there some kind of scientific evidence of this, evil? Young miss, mock me at your own risk. You'll soon find out why they call me the cough-up queen. Ew! The most heinous of all the evil ones, the one they awarded yesterday. It was in his car that they found the body. Proof that he devours the evilest lunches of all. Really? Really what? I'm totally confused. One thing's clear, this lunch lady has a thing against prosecutors. What you witnessed. So what exactly was it that you witnessed, Miss Star? It was a fascinating spectacle, to be sure. I now feel I know what they say when they talk about a woman's wrath. You see, Lana Skye wielded that knife, so her knife flashed in anger, bringing him to a sad end. It was truly a sight to see. You mean you saw the very moment of the crime? The sound of his silvery ties to his wall being cruelly cut still rings in my ears, and the rhythmic beat of Lana Skye's knife. Wait a second, you know Lana Skye? Of course. It's quite a feat becoming chief prosecutor. How many lunchboxes of sin did she pack to make that journey, I wonder? She always travels light. Now why would this pretty lunch lady know the chief prosecutor's name? Angel. Could we ask you a bit about yourself, Miss Star? I come here every day to sell lunches. I import only the freshest and best from the Far East. For some reason, the box lunches are a hit here. Why not make the lunches here rather than import them? Did you say something? No. Only true connoisseurs can understand. The kind you can only tell someone who has tried General Tso's Trilogy lunch set. Ah, never mind. You win. I don't even want to appreciate part of a Trilobyte's flavor. Anyway, I come here every day to sell lunches. My boyfriend works in the security room here at the prosecutor's office. Your boyfriend? See that security room over there? The Oswald booth? I sell my lunches and, since I'm here anyway, I drop in to see him. Since you're here anyway, I guess selling lunches is more important than romance. So, to scientifically analyze the data available so far, you, Miss Star, are a lunch vendor with an ulterior motive for coming here. Useful analysis? Not. Prosecutor's office. Did you have a bad experience with a prosecutor, Miss Star? I sense some hostility. Hostility? Ha! Perhaps. Prosecutors are all alike, and the bigger they get, the worse they smell. Kind of like 10-day-old clams in the chowder. I wonder if Miss Star was involved in some sort of legal trouble in the past. That'd be a sure cause of food poisoning, scientifically speaking, of course. I mean, now you're talking cough up queen. I thought she was just a lunch vendor, but now I'm not so sure. Let's present. A defense attorney must be able to fight. How about you? You think you can win? How about tackling Lunchland's Pickle Supreme lunchbox? Wow, it's really crunchy. A box of pickles? Kind of a sad lunch if you ask me. Goodman's ID. About this card. Lunchland vendors only accept cash, no cards. Especially not a card belonging to someone else. No, this isn't a credit card, it's an ID card. It belongs to a detective. And you're showing this to me, the lunch lady, why? That's like showing a fine honeyed ham to a detective. Why do I always feel like I'm being mocked? Yes, you are. Okay, let's move. High Prosecutor's Office. February 22nd, High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. This is the kind of room that just screams, I can do the job. Quite a change from your office, really. Thanks. Look, there's a trophy or something here. A trophy? What, that shield? It takes real nerve to display stuff like this. Whoever's office this is, there must be a real stuck-up jerk. Phoenix Wright. You never tire of prying into other people's business, do you? That voice. Long time no see, Edgeworth. Huh? Ah! Mr. Edgeworth. You know him from somewhere? Of course, I'm his biggest fan. My sister introduced us once and... Right. Our sister is the chief prosecutor, after all. Well, what brings you here? I'll warn you, I've been known to be a real stuck-up jerk. No, did I? No. It was just Mr. Wright here, he... Hey, don't blame me. We're just here to investigate a murder case. Murder? A body was found in this nasty bright red sports car in the parking lot. That would be my car. What of it? What? Your car? I'll say one thing, she certainly can scream. I'm only not screaming because I don't want to make noise. Wow, this jacket is even lacier than his usual one. This must be his lucky trial jacket. Lucky jacket, right. I've never seen him wear it. I'm sure there's a story behind why it's in a frame. Maybe I'll be naughty and take a picture. She's getting way too excited about this. My. What an amazing bouquet. Bouquet. I forgot how... Bouquet, yeah, we'll just call it that. Right, just right for Mr. Edgeworth. No kidding. Hey, there's a card on it. Back from the dead, Wendy. Wendy? I've heard that name somewhere before. And beside it, a giant steel samurai. Wow, I want one. Huh? There's something written on the bottom of his foot. Between a rock and a hard place. Wendy. Wendy? Is she Mr. Edgeworth's fiancé? I don't think so. I hope not. Whoa! What a view! It must be nice to have an office on the 12th floor. I guess you would feel important. Incidentally, were you to jump out this window, the time until impact of the ground would be... Got it! Approximately 3.23 seconds. That's handy to know. Oh, tea set. Ooh, cute! What a pretty tea set. I go more for the instant tea bags myself. Amazing! The drawer below is filled with packets of tea leaves. They're all sorted by place of origin and flavor. Look at this royal blend. What an exquisitely splendid concoction. There's such a thing as taking a hobby too far. Damn. A work desk. It's quite tidy as one might expect. What a nice desk. Easy to use and easy on the eyes. It's polished so well I can see my own reflection. Yo. Strange. Why did I just picture Detective Gumshoe? Maybe I'll take that name plaque as a souvenir. Don't. They'll sue you. Hey, a chessboard. I'm not too up on my chess, but it looks like blue's in a bit of a tight spot. The red knights have surrounded the blue pawn. Huh? Those horses are mounted knights. Their swords have really sharp edges. But check out that poor pawn. His head is kind of spiky. Kind of reminds me of you. Mr. Edgeworth must be an avid chess player. What's wrong, Mr. Wright? Edges surrounding a pawn of spiky hair? Nah, it's nothing. Whoa! These are all case files? They're stacked up to the ceiling. There's even a ladder. Odd. I thought Edgeworth wasn't good with heights. We must have someone get them for him. Again? Strange. Why did I just picture Detective Gumshoe? You must study these case reports so closely. He's so cool. You wouldn't say that if you saw him sweating bullets up on that ladder. Mr. Edgeworth has such a comfy sofa. Sofas like this make me want to curl up and take a nap. Betty pores over his case files here until the wee hours of the morning. Then he takes off his jacket, rolls up his sleeves, and goes to sleep using his arms as a pillow. I don't believe it. She's actually daydreaming about Edgeworth working. I bet in the morning he has sofa hair and little creases in his cheek from the seams. He's so cool. Sofa hair is cool? This is just a fanfiction now. I've been wondering, what the heck is this? It has a big K on it. Prosecutors. Huh? What's that? It's the King of Prosecutors trophy. King of Prosecutors? It's a great honor. I send that shield to the best prosecutor each year. What? So that K, that's... K stands for King? Yeah, you got a problem with that? I didn't design the thing. King of Prosecutors. Kinda like Employee of the Month, only better. King of Prosecutors trophy added to the court record. Okay, well let's do a bit of this. Ooh. Hey, it's a fist. That's kinda neat. Hey, check it out. There's a metal plate here. Looks like the names of all the previous recipients are engraved on it. Wow, one guy's listed a bunch of times. Von Karma. Guess he must be a foreigner? Yeah, that's probably it. Well, wherever he's from, he must have been an amazing prosecutor. I'd like to meet this Mr. Von Karma sometime. When she says it, his name does have kind of a thing to it. Okay, cool. Well, not cool. Fuck Von Karma. We can examine it again. So that's the King of Prosecutors shield, huh? Well done, Edgeworth. You must be proud to be the King of Prosecutors. Congratulations, King of Prosecutors. Please stop saying that. That still doesn't explain one thing. Why is the tip of this shield broken off? That is true. No, don't move, I want to talk. The case. So, the body was found in your car? Go ahead, say it right. You think I did it, don't you? After you went through all that trouble to help me last year, no less. No, we don't think you did it. I mean, it was my sister who stabbed him. Wait, no, she didn't do that. I mean... Wait. So you're the chief prosecutor's little sister then? Yes, sir, you Miss Guy. It's nice to meet you again. Now that didn't sound forced at all. Ah, now I remember. You've really grown. I'll admit, it was a surprise for me too, to think that my own car would become the scene of a murder. More surprising still, I'm being forced to prove my superior's guilt. I can understand. Wait, what did you say? Lana Skye is the chief prosecutor, the top prosecutor in the district. She can't prosecute herself, so I'll be the prosecutor at the trial tomorrow. You? Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth. To be honest, it's a bit of a miracle I'm still here at all. What do you mean? Rumors. You've heard the rumors about me, haven't you? Miles Edgeworth. It's hard to remember a time when there weren't rumors about this guy. Sorry. Forging evidence, arranging false testimony, illegal searches, you name it. Thanks to you, my innocence was established in the trial at the end of last year. However, there are some who say I'm the one responsible for the current incident. But what? That's crazy. Some people need very little excuse to think ill of others. It's a fact of life, impossible to stop. But some of them even go so far as to present me with toys like this. I think it's funny. Toys? That bronze shield? There's gotta be a story behind that one. Lana Skye. Chief Prosecutor Skye? Yes, we first worked together on a case 2 years ago. It was my first big case. That's right, I remember. 2 years ago. I wasn't even a lawyer yet. Since then, I always felt that she was looking out for me. It appears I was mistaken. Mistaken? Why? I mean, I know she's not the warmest person, but I'm sure she felt some responsibility for you. Then, why? Why did she stab someone in the trunk of my car? Not only that, she stabbed him with my knife. What? Mr. Edgeworth, your knife was the murder weapon? To be specific, it was the knife I keep in the toolbox in the trunk of my car. Edgeworth's knife added to the court record. Edgeworth? What? Are you sure you didn't do it? Come on, can't he take a joke? You have a strange sense of humor, Mr. Wright. Okay. Oh yeah, we can examine this now. Edgeworth's knife. This must be the victim's blood, right? Either that or Edgeworth cut himself peeling an apple. What's Edgeworth doing with a knife like this anyway? Hey, maybe he spends his weekends roughing it in the wild. Edgeworth, in the wild? I think my fruit peeling theory is more likely. Are you kidding? I always pictured him as an outdoorsman. Now that's a scary thought. Okay. Good. Let's present everything. I once dreamed of being a defense attorney a long time ago. What? You wanted to be a defense attorney, Mr. Edgeworth? Yet my path is laid out clearly before me. I have no time to reflect on what might have been. Goodman's ID. Say, Edgeworth, I was wondering about this. Mr. Wright! Huh? What? Are you sure you should be showing that to Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, he'll take it for sure, won't he? Wish I could be on the same side as Mr. Edgeworth, but then my sister would be found guilty. If she sighs any deeper, I'm going to start getting depressed. So, basically this says you were the best of the best last year, huh? You can take that foolish grin elsewhere, right? I lost a day of work to receive that travesty. Huh? Why is that? I had to go to the police department to receive that broken shield. The police department? Yes, right next to the police station downtown. You've been there, haven't you? Where Detective Gumshoe works? Yeah. I was wondering something about your shield. Why is it broken? What does it matter? I've got more important things to worry about. Oh, right. He doesn't seem too concerned about his award for better or for worse. Yesterday was a very busy day for the prosecutor's office. Maybe we should ask him more about yesterday? It's against my policy to discuss evidence with the defense, especially with you. He doesn't like you much, does he, Mr. Wright? Nah, with Edgeworth it's never personal. It's all about winning tomorrow. Yeah, you guys love each other. The day of the crime. Could you tell me more about yesterday, the day of the murder? Yesterday was the annual cleaning day at the prosecutor's office. Cleaning day? Working with the police department, we sort and file all evidence for solved cases. We call it evidence transferal. Wiping your hands of old cases, in other words. Oh, and another thing, a ceremony was held at the police department. There's an annual review and awards for outstanding police officers and prosecutors. And that's when you got the shield? I was at the police department yesterday afternoon. I got back here at 5:12. That's very precise. People like myself and Mr. Edgeworth pride ourselves on our precision, Mr. Wright. No, I place little faith in my memory. The only thing I trust is solid evidence. Edgeworth's parking stub added to the court record. This is the parking stub from the underground law. Okay. Let me just check. Miles Edgeworth, 5:12. This is dated the day of the crime. The murder took place 3 minutes after Edgeworth parked his car. If only he was held up at a couple extra red lights, he wouldn't have been caught up in this whole affair. Perhaps. Just goes to show you never know what'll happen when you run a yellow light. Right, that's the moral. Oh, it's just black, okay. The murder took place around 5:15, so the murder happened right after you got back. What, right? I'd appreciate it if you'd direct that suspicious glare elsewhere. Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth, anywhere on the premises? I'm Edgeworth. What is it? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. Report? What? Did you find new evidence in the case against Chief Prosecutor Sky? I don't like the way this conversation is going at all. Sky, sir? No, sir. No name of that kind, sir. Not in this report, sir. I think I just heard Edgeworth's lid blow. Mr. Edgeworth's lid isn't on very tight, is it? I made a clear request to the police department, did I not? I need to focus on the trial tomorrow, so don't bring me anything unrelated. Sir, but sir. I'm just following orders, sir. They told me to bring this to you. I wasn't aware of the particulars of your arrangement with us, sir. Give me your name. Yes, sir. Meekins, sir. Officer Meekins. Right, Officer Meekins, take your report and leave. And good luck without raise next month. But sir, I didn't know. Poor guy. Looks like he was absent on the day they gave out brains and good luck. Damn. Right. Yes, sir? Yeah, he called me off guard. As you can see, I'm busy. You may leave now. Let's do what he says, Mr. Wright. The victim was the victim was a detective from the same department as that patrolman just now. We're down to the police department. You can ask more there. Thanks. Seems to have finally calmed down at least. Can I examine anything else? I can examine the trophy again. I'm busy preparing for tomorrow, and I'm not in the mood for idle banter, especially not with you. Let's go, Mr. Wright. Fine. I'll just have to talk to him when he perks up. Can I just show him this? I'm busy preparing for tomorrow, and I'm not in the mood for idle banter. Okay, fine. Okay. Bye, Edgeworth. What if I present all of this stuff to her? Could you take a look at this? You. Yes? You said you wanted some hot tea, right? No, thanks. She didn't even look at me. Must have to brew the leaves a long time to get a rich flavor like this. We pre-infused the leaves with steam before brewing. I knew it. It's a vast secret to their aroma. Exquisite. The only thing I'm smelling here is wasted time. Can you take a look? Okay. I'm assuming it's going to be like this for the parking stuff as well. You can take a look at this. Okay, fine. I am smelling a lot of wasted time. Let's go to the police department. February 22nd, police department. Entrance. Whew, we're finally here. Why would they put the police department so far away from the prosecutor's office? Beats me, that took almost 30 minutes by taxi, and traffic wasn't even that bad. The police department, huh? I've only ever been to criminal affairs next door. Hold on, what's that? Disturbing. Why does it undulate like that? Oh, wait, I know. This is the Blue Badger. We're trying to make him the police mascot. Wow, Mr. Wright. You sure know a lot about the police. Still, he does seem familiar somehow. Forget the Blue Badger. Who's that next to him? Someone appears to be dancing with the Blue Badger. Uh-oh, he knows me. He sure is running over here fast. Hey, pal! What are you doing here? That's my line, Detective Gumshoe. Specifically, why were you dancing over there? What? Well, at least he doesn't seem to be busy. Let's start trying to get information. Hey, I'll have you know I'm a very busy man, pal. I'm sure you are. I always get excited when I come to a police station. Why is that? Just feels like I've jumped into a movie. Huh? You know, with all the police and criminals. Well, I don't know if this is all that exciting. Sure it is. Look at those two officers over there. They're probably talking about the latest bust. Funny, I thought they were talking about the weather. Who the fuck talks about the weather? The banner here is announcing the crime-fighting campaign. Nice slogan. I wonder if they'll be selling fingerprinting sets. I don't think it's that kind of campaign. What family wouldn't want a set at home? It's good for finding out who snuck into the cookie jar. I think most families can figure that out without the extra help. Mr. Wright, do you know why patrol cars are painted black and white? No idea. Why? Well, I think they're designed after a panda. A panda? Not that I have scientific proof, it's just a theory. Do you mind me asking how you came up with that theory? It was when I was on a school trip, I saw a patrol car and it came to me. We'd just been at the zoo, see? What about zebras? Or did they not have those at your zoo? Oh, man, I wanted to find out. Look, that patrolman is saluting the other guy. He must be a detective. And then I said, hey, you do that, your soup will get cold, buddy. That's hilarious, sir. I laughed so hard I cried. Guess he wasn't saluting, he was wiping tears from his eyes. They make a good pair. Make a good couple. The detectives in there look pretty busy. Just imagine, right now, behind those doors, a police drama in action. Somehow the thought fails to excite me. Ah, no. Okay. I'll examine him in a bit, don't you worry. The usual wanted posters are hanging up on the bulletin board here. Do you know this face? If you do, dial 911. You know, Mr. Wright, I've always thought it was kind of funny. I've never seen anyone who looked like the people in these posters. They hardly even look human. She has a point. Maybe they're all fake. I was wondering about that. What, the dancing blue badger? It's my masterpiece. You made this, Detective Gumshoe? The chief threw together some designs and I just did my thing, pal. Nice work. It's battery powered, so it can go anywhere. There's no switch, so it just dances until the batteries die. Poor Blue Badger, fated to dance until he drops. Blue Badger panel added to the court record. I can check. Okay. I can't examine though. Are we done here? I think we're done examining. Let's talk to Gumshoe, my boy. I'll give you one word of advice, pal. You'd better not agree to defend the suspect in this case. Ooh, why not? Huh? Well, it's just that the chief prosecutor has confessed to the crime. She says she summoned the detective to the prosecutor's office and she killed him. But what if she's not telling the truth? Yes, well, no. Come on, pal. There's plenty of evidence against her. But what if the evidence was faked? Hey, pal. Can I speak to you for a second? Huh? Me? Why is this little girl so peeved at me? She's a relative of the suspect. She's Lana Sky's sister. Whoa! The chief prosecutor's little sister? Just please investigate this case carefully, okay? Scientifically. Yes, sir. Oh, by the way, you might want to keep your voices down. You don't want to be overheard using words like faked. Huh? It's a sensitive issue with us these days. Investigation. So, what are you doing here, Detective Gumshoe? Me? Oh, well, nothing really. They kicked me out of criminal affairs. Detective Gumshoe, what did you do this time? What do you mean, this time? Man, what happened? I know things are busy right now. I mean, with my sister's case and all. It's true, we've never had a chief prosecutor murder anyone before. Only the highest ranked people are being let into criminal affairs now. The lowest ranking guy in there is our chief of detectives. Not letting any of us rank and file detectives in at all. None of you? I know this is an important trial, but isn't that a little odd? So anyway, I thought I'd spend the day getting the Badger Dogs down pat. Isn't there anything else you could be doing? The Chief of Police himself is directing this investigation, pal, and Officer Marshall was assigned to the underground parking lot. Officer Marshall. Now that I think about it, Ema did seem to know that Marshall guy. A patrolman in charge of a crime scene. It's unheard of, pal. Let's just show him everything. Detective, here's my attorney's badge. You show this to me every time we meet, pal. Real men should have a police badge. Enough said. I wish had a badge. I wish had a badge. Even an ID card would be nice. Wait. Speaking of ID cards, I found that detective's card, didn't I? This one. Detective Gumshoe, what can you tell me about this? Huh? Hey, pal, this is a detective's ID card. You can't just keep that. You have to turn it into the police. People like you that get me into so much trouble all the time. Meaning Detective Gumshoe must drop his card or what? Let's see. Bruce Goodman. Goodman. Sounds familiar. Nah, my mistake. But didn't you work together with him in criminal affairs? Whoa! Now I remember. Bruce Goodman. He's the victim. That's what I thought. Can you tell us more, Detective Gumshoe? Hey, that's it. That's the King of Prosecutors award that Mr. Redruff got yesterday. Were you at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe? Of course, pal. I got an award for diligence myself. Ah, congratulations. I was wondering, why is the award a shield? And why is it broken? Oh, there's a reason. I'll tell you what it is later. Apparently he's forgotten. But I was proud of Mr. Redruff for winning that award, even with all the naysayers in the prosecutor's office. Naysayers? Must be because of the rumors. Found in Mr. Redruff's car, stabbed with Mr. Redruff's knife, huh? What would drive Chief Prosecutor Sky to do such a thing? Wait, I mean, sure, of course someone else really did it. Someone who must have a grudge against Mr. Redruff. The car and the knife do seem a little too well organized to be a coincidence. Poor Mr. Redruff. What could have happened? We have to find out a little more about what's going on with Edgeworth. Ah shit, I didn't want to examine it again. I wanted to examine the parking stuff. Which I'm assuming is just going to give us the same thing, right? Yeah, okay. Blue Badger. As a detective, I have to keep my mouth shut on that one. I know better than to go blabbing on about things I don't know about. No, I wouldn't want you to do that either. Good. Talk. Bruce Goodman. So, this ID card belonged to the victim. He was a detective like myself. Detective Bruce Goodman. Don't you think it's strange? I mean, why would the victim's ID card be lying on the ground where we found it? Well, Detective Goodman should have been at the police department yesterday. There was an evidence transfer for a case he handled 2 years ago. Evidence transfer. Mr. Redruff mentioned that too. But Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Well, that's the thing. It's hard to say this, but what is that Chief Prosecutor Sky called him out there to the parking lot? And Lana's confessing as much. Edgeworth's troubles. He's in a tough spot, again. Again? Yeah, of course, again. Well, it all started with the murder of that defense attorney, Hammond. But Mr. Edgeworth was found innocent. Listen, pal, there have always been rumors about Mr. Edgeworth. Forging evidence, making deals with witnesses. Nothing outright, but there were always whispered rumors. Ever since he was accused of murder, no one's whispering. They're practically shouting. But there's no evidence against him. Well, Mr. Edgeworth has always had unusually strong ties to the department higher-ups. It's only natural that people would be suspicious. I had no idea he was under the gun. Or he's been cancelled on Twitter. Anyway, this latest case has started a new rumor. People say the only reason he took this case is because he's aiming for the chief prosecutor position himself. What? But I know the truth, pal. Nobody wants to be the one who has to prosecute the chief prosecutor. Mr. Redruff is biting the bullet on this one. He's doing this for all of us. And that's all I know about that. I'm not officially on the case, you know. Thank you. Why aren't you handling the case, Detective Gumshoe? We met the guy who is... What was his name? The guy in the parking lot? That'd be Officer Marshall. He was appointed directly by the Chief of Police. Officer Marshall? Is he some kind of Wild West sheriff or something? No, Jake Marshall's just a regular officer. From West LA. For a moment there, I wasn't sure. Look, pal, let me try to make things a little easier for you. Show them this and they'll let you examine the crime scene. Maybe. Detective Gumshoe's letter of introduction added to the court record. I'll be surprised if this gets us anywhere. Just act like you're supposed to be there and nobody will look at you twice, pal. What if I show you? As a detective, okay. You have to keep your mouth shut on the thing that you gave me. Awesome. Thank you, Gumshoe. Bye. February 22nd. Prosecutor's office. Underground parking lot. Looks like the investigation is still going. I have to be getting back to the shop. Sorry, looks like I'll be stuck in this pit till the sun sets. Or is that Marshall? I'll see you in my dreams tonight then, baby. Oh, still here? Ah, hello. Why the surprised looks? Didn't I mention? I've got a boyfriend from North Ez, too. What happens to the security guard? Hey, what's wrong, Bambino? You're looking like a doggy that's lost its herd. Jake Marshall. Strange guy to put in charge of a crime scene. Okay, I can't slide. If you want to take a closer look, you'll have to deal with me first, partner. Huh? A duel at sunset. The winner leaves the loser in the dust and takes all. The blood law of the gunman. Note to self. Jurisdiction squabbles are settled by dueling. I think one body per murder case is enough, thanks. Okay. Victim. There's something I wanted to ask you. The scene of the crime. A cold grave for men who've lost their dreams. And me, I watch over them as they sleep, dreaming of the desert's harsh judgment. He's asleep. Well, should we show this hopeless case something to catch his interest? There's something I wanted to ask you. Scene of the crime, a cold... Okay. Let's just present him everything. Officer Marshall, could you take a look at this? Whoa, partner. If you're fixing to draw on me, you best be ready for a shootout. You ready to become food for the vultures, compadre? Are you ready, Mr. Wright? Somehow I don't think he's going to help us. Okay. This is all just going to be the same. Alright, compadre. Count to 3. Huh? You gotta do that if you're going to draw evidence on someone. That's what we do in Texas. Remind me never to visit Texas. Mr. Marshall. Okay. Why is some of it different? Alright, letter of introduction. Would you mind reading this for me? What's this? I'll warn you, fan letters to me goes right into spittoon. It's a letter of introduction from Detective Gumshoe. May we investigate? Gumshoe? Ah, that old cow dog. He holding a birthday party or something? Huh? Look, where it should say letter of introduction, it says invitation. Ah, I think you just miswrote it. Wait, why am I getting all defensive here? No worries. Oh wait, no worries. This proves it's from Detective Gumshoe, better than a blood test. Guess I'd better let you in then. Thank you, Officer Marshall. Oh, that's right. He's a patrolman, not a detective. Which reminds me. Hey, wait a sec. Isn't that crime scene supposed to be handled by a detective or higher? Well, folks, the clues are calling. Welcome to our gold strike. Be like the settler, strike out for lands unknown. Manifest destiny. Let's have a hootenanny. Note to self, police investigations are like settling land. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? I say I won't be needing this anymore. Wait, before I forgot to check this. I want to check this. Hey, look here. It's like something's been crossed out. Maybe it was a letter or something to Detective Gumshoe. Let's see. Annual bonus. $20. I think a couple of zeros are missing. No, that sounds about right. At least in that detective's case. Maybe I should rethink my career as an investigator. As long as you're not like Detective Gumshoe and get your fucking wages cut every month. Detective Gumshoe's letter of introduction crumpled and discarded. Can I actually talk to you now? Can I actually examine stuff and you'll tell me? Yeah, I actually don't think he's gonna tell me anything, but... yeah, okay. Officer Marshall, could you tell us more about the victim? Good men always die young. Remember that, partner. Could you be a little more specific? Bruce Goodman. He was a detective, right? Well, aren't you a feisty doggy there now? Detective Goodman was stabbed here at 5:15. The smiling Madonna told me the tale. I think he means the witness, Miss Angel Starr. One stab to the chest, a fine piece of work. This here's the autopsy report. Goodman's autopsy report added to the court record. Is my sister involved with the victim in any way? Am I examining the autopsy? Okay, no, it just gives me this. Okay, cool. Funny you should mention that, Bambina. Chief Prospector Sky and Detective Goodman had nothing in common at all. Nothing in common? They apparently worked together on a case a few years back. So, there's no motive. Goodman wasn't a particularly gifted detective. That's one reason why he didn't do much work with the Chief Prospector. But my sister called the victim here on the day of the murder, right? Here to this parking lot? So it seems, like calling an unarmed man to a shootout at high noon. Marshall. I don't mean any offense, but Officer Marshall, you're a patrolman, right? Not a detective. You're calling me out? They shoot you for that in Texas. Huh? I was one of them fancy shoot detectives till 2 years ago, to tell you the truth. Oh, really? Now he tells me. So that you're a patrolman now, so how can you be in charge of a crime scene? Nothing gets by you, does it, Bambina? So why are you in charge? No reason. We're just short on hands right now. I'm keeping an eye out in the meantime. That's odd, though. Detective Gumshoe was saying he had nothing to do. Nothing important, at least. He's nothing but a sad old cow dog. I can't find his tail. Maybe it's because he runs with that Edgeworth, eh? This guy sucks. Edgeworth? That cow dog's been kicked out of his cattle run by order of the chief of police. Just you don't realize it yet. Detective Gumshoe kicked out of this investigation? Ah. Oh, I can go over that now. I want to present some more stuff. I see your badge. Looks pretty round. Our badge is a star. A lone star shining in the nighttime sky. A beam of light illuminating evildoers who come in the dark of night. Note to self, evildoers are weak against starlight. Hey, that's a sheriff's badge. What's that? Some sort of police passport? This is Detective Goodman's ID card. Strangely enough, he found it a good distance away from the crime scene. Good distance in this rat hole? If you want distance, get yourself to Texas. Texas. This is a tiny little crime scene, a tiny little town with tiny little evidence. What difference does a few yards make, compadre? Note to self: if you encounter suspicious evidence, think of Texas. There's no better way to study than to hang out with the pros. King of Prosecutor's Trophy. Ah, toy shield suits the boy well. What exactly could you shield of that? A toy knight, maybe? Officer Marshall, don't you have anything good to say about Mr. Edgeworth? You don't like him, right? We get the point. You know, when I was a detective, I got one of these. Let me guess. Did it have a K for King of Detectives on it? Hey, they could use the same shield over and over. Note to self, the prosecutor's office in criminal affairs are surprisingly cheap. You know it. They've gotten cheaper with every passing year, I tell you. Alright, okay, never mind. 5:12 p.m. The prospector's bright red steed came in at a trot, real slow like. A trot? My Madonna tells me the crime occurred 3 minutes later. It seems the chief prospector was lying in wait. Maybe waiting for a prince to ride in on his bright red horse. So what you mean is, the killer intended to use Edgeworth's car all along. Okay, that's just that. Right. Thanks for that. Okay, let's slide over. B block is through there. That's where visitors park. I can see the Lunchland car over there, far in the distance. Hey, you're right. I like the cute design on the door. I can see a cartoon cow munching down on a juicy looking steak. Doesn't that strike you as a little creepy? Just don't think too deeply about it and you'll be fine. Anything else that's cool? A block. This area is reserved for prosecutors. The Pentatonies are relegated to B block. I dream of the day when I'll be able to park my car here. I'll go over to B block to buy my hamburgers from you, Mr. Wright. Not planning on giving up my job that soon. Yeah, let's examine the car. This appears to be the car where the body was found. Looks like the lock on the trunk is busted. The crime took place in the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The body was found in the trunk of my subordinate's car. Quite a luxury car. It just screams, I have money to burn. Yeah, prosecutors get the big bucks. What's this? Looks like a note of some sort. Look, something's written on it. You're right. Let's see. 67S 122. There's a name printed on the paper above that. Goodman. Maybe it fell out of his pocket when he was killed. Well, so, what does it mean, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Note to self, for deductive reasoning, go to Edgeworth, not Wright. I'm sure Edgeworth wouldn't know what this means either. Goodman's note added to the court record. I'm assuming I can't examine this either. It's gonna, yeah, just gonna send me here. Okay, cool. Maybe there was something at the back, who knows? This rope, is it? Yep, it laid it in the outline of the victim's body. So wait, the victim must have died when the killer posted the trunk on him. You've got to be the only person I know that would come to that conclusion. Okay. This looks like a cell phone. Scientific analysis would suggest it belonged to the victim. Can't think of anyone else it could belong to. What's so scientific about that? Should we check it out? Well, yeah. Right. Let's check it out. I'm not doing this so slowly. I don't know why this is so slow. Okay, that. This phone's still on the redial screen. Redial. Mr. Wright? Most phones keep a record of all the calls you've made and received. You just press the blue button to display the last number you called. Convenient, isn't it? I'm surprised you didn't know about it. Sorry to disappoint you, but even I know about things like redial. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. It's just, you never know with people from your generation. Whatever. Let's check this phone out. Oh no, this is... Man, what a boring strap. What's wrong with it? Everyone has different tastes, you know. Here, check out mine. It's a pink princess strap. These are hard to come by, you know. I see the series is as popular as ever with the kids. Anything at the back that I can examine? No. Okay, let's just press the blue button. Now, see who the owner of this phone called last. Note to self, the defense doesn't think first, he just pushes the button. Hey, that song, I know that. Hey, what's going on over there? Ah, oh, sorry. I see you, partner. You pressed redial on that there phone, didn't you? Well, yeah. Whose phone is this anyway? It was on the ground over there. Whose is it? It belongs to Chief Prospector Sky. What? It's my sister's? She apparently dropped it when she was taken into custody, right after the crime. Look, the last call was made right when the murder occurred. Looks like he was fixing to call someone. Except she only spoke for a few seconds, according to this. Who did she call? No idea. Sorry, partner. Now I got a question for you, partner. I heard a phone ring just now. One of those newfangled ringtones. Oh, that? Oh. I'm sorry, that was my phone. What? Your phone? Yeah, it's kind of strange, but someone called me right as he picked up the other phone. Wrong number. I hope you're not lying. They shoot you for that in Texas, partner. Uh-oh, I've incited the wrath of the Lone Star Patrolman. Cell phone added to the court record. Well, what now? Oh, we can slide over. Lana Sky. So, there's no connection between Detective Goodman and my sister. That's correct, but there's a gold mine of evidence against her. And the prospector tomorrow was none other than Edgeworth himself. I'm afraid your sister's fate is decided, Bambina. Many condolences. Officer Marshall. Yeah, Bambina? How can you say that? You and my sister, you were... Is there something between this cop and her sister that I don't know about? I apologize, Bambina. Something must have gone to me. Maybe it's that dry wind that's a-blowing through the prospector's office. Dry wind or ill will, someone's up to something here. But who? Office atmosphere. Suspicions about Mr. Edgeworth have been flying around for nearly 2 years now. Forged evidence and arranging testimonies, you mean? He was unbeatable because he did whatever it took to win. Unbeatable, that is, until he met you. The rumors are just rumors, aren't they? These are prosecutors we're talking about. Evidence is everything to them. You follow the rumors about Edward to their source, you find one person, but they're off limits. Untouchable, you might say. One person? Who? Hate to say this, but it's your sister, Bambina. Chief Prospector Lana Sky. What? My sister? Edgeworth couldn't rustle all those cattle by himself. Some people load their guns with bullets, some people load them with deals. What? You're saying Edgeworth was making deals to win trials? Where there's gunshots, there's bound to be bullets. That's what the old-timers say. There's a big old secret hidden around here somewhere. Everyone knows it. Is that why Detective Gumshoe was taken off the case? Did they target him because he was closest to Edgeworth? So, well, how are we doing, Mr. Wright? I guess we've got some clues. We have an autopsy report, a note from the victim, and a cell phone. So, you think we'll be okay? Well, the only thing still bothering me is that Lana is confessing to the crime. She says she did it. No problem. I can guarantee that she's not the criminal. Oh, by the way, Ema? Yes? I know that song your phone plays when it rings. What? Do 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 do. It's the Steel Samurai theme song, isn't it? That popular TV show for kids. The phone that rang earlier wasn't mine. It was yours. At 5:18, just after the murder took place, your sister called you, didn't she, Ema? I'm sorry. Can you tell me what you talked about? She hung up right away. I see. Cell phone updated in the court record. The detective is murdered, and the suspect is the top prosecutor in the district. What if I check the phone now? Is there anything different? Is it just the strap? I think it's just the strap, okay. I've got a bad feeling about this. Like, maybe I still don't know everything that went on here. To be continued. That was a long chapter. Holy crap. Ugh. I'm tired and I'm hungry. I want to go eat. I'll save my progress. Yes, I will. There we go. Trial former. February 23rd, 9:34 AM. District Court. Defendant lobby number 2. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? You'll find out next episode. So that is going to do it for this episode of Phoenix Wright. Very interesting start to this new episode. So tune in next time to see where this trial goes. Maybe it'll end immediately by her admitting her guilt, but we'll see. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!